Hello, hello, hello. I am back. We are back. You are back with another stream today talking about uh, the picks from yesterday and the picks for today. We have a plethora of college games tonight. We have, 10 games of NBA tonight. I'm looking forward to, well, actually, I think a couple of college games get ready to start in a half hour, less than a half hour. So after 4:30, I think there's a college game starting at 5 o'clock. So got to kind of like speed up a little bit. Starting the stream just a smidge, just a few minutes later than the normal. I usually just start to hit go live and then give it a few minutes before I get started here. But yeah, yeah. Let's you know what? I apologize. I did not do. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to pull that back up real quick, and I am going to pull this up. But as always, hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well today. As we are, like I said, we're getting ready to focus on tonight's games. Um, as always, and hope that the hope is that we will continue to get some wins tonight, and definitely push to get some wins over the weekend. I know that I had a great Saturday when it's pertaining to college, at least. Um, I think NBA, I went like 500. I went 3-3, I think, for the NBA. But I had 10 picks for college last Saturday, and I went 9-1, which felt really really great, and felt so great. I was like, well, let me keep trying some more college picks, blah blah blah, over the weekend. And yes, Sunday and Monday more specifically were my worst days for the from for 48 hours. Technically it was like roughly 2.5 days, but it is what it is. As always, finally, all right, so we got it fixed. As always, say, go follow me over on Twitter at Vortex46 to get all of my picks for tonight's action here, and just daily action as always. As you see here, I have all of my picks. I don't think, let me just double check, I don't think I shared any of my NBA picks. I didn't. I don't think I did. But I have them specifically. These are from the past. But let's focus. This is not from. This is from the day before. Where are you? Here you are. So this is yesterday. I had 10 picks in total. I went 7-3. I went. What was it? What did I say? I went 4-1 for the NBA and 3-2 for college. I should have been. I'm gonna bring this up again because I talked about it on Twitter. I should have went 4-1 for college. Again, I'll take the 3. I'll take that 3-2. But I should have went 4-1 last night because the Campbell game. They were at home. It really was a sweat of a game because this specific game, the first half was going in the direction that it was supposed to, but then it kind of slowed down. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was going in the direction. It was literally going in the direction of possibly either hitting or not hitting. And the fourth quarter hit, things were starting to climb a little bit in the direction I wanted to go for this to hit the over 140 and a half. And with like 30 something seconds left, they hit 139. It literally went over to 142 points. Somebody must have hit a 3, and it originally had cashed, right? But and I even posted about it. Where are you? Right here. I posted about it. BetMGM, I had it. I locked this in hours and hours prior. It was minus 105 on BetMGM. It literally says it here that it cashed the 140 and a half, even though it was sitting at 139, because they took that 3-pointer away. I don't know what happened because I wasn't watching the game. I was just paying attention to the score. When I saw that 142, I literally just did a pump fist real quick, like, yes, it got another win. I was sitting at 3-0 for my first few picks, or almost few picks. And yeah, but like I said, it hit 142, and I was like, cool, like it hit it. The game's pretty much over, and I got a win. But it turned out that whatever happened in the game, they took the 3-pointer away, and yeah, game over. 139 was the final slot there. Didn't really see that occurring last night, but that it is what it is. But with that, the other stuff here, my two, so that loss, and then the other loss was the Wilmington game. I thought it was gonna go per the stats from Outlier and stuff. I thought it was gonna go under this 146, and that did not. 146 and a half, it did not occur. As you see, they scored 161 points. So that is what it is. But I felt good about when it's pertaining to the NBA. I mean, when you really look at the other stuff too, I also felt good when we're talking about college. Also, I felt good about the Maine heading to UNH. The plus 7.5. I felt really good about this pick. The Outlier stuff was really just popping for me. I was just like, yo, like this feels really good that this should hit even if they lose. And as you see, they did lose to Maine. But what ended up happening, I think, it's pretty much the same thing. The score was 73 to 79 to 69 at the time that I looked at the score. But it looks like they took a point, 3 points away. But the pick still ended up cashing. They ended up losing by 7. So that half a point. This is the only time that I'll enjoy that a half a point works out, because I really don't like half a points in a lot of stuff, because it's just like, why don't you just go with the regular number? Because that way, because if it's a half a point that gets that a half hits, then you lose due to that half point. Just like, it just sucks. But it's more so not just saying like, oh, it feels great because of the half a point and I won, but it's more so just saying like the half a point stuff. It just, I don't really necessarily never really liked 7.5 or 12.5 or 140.5. I never really liked that stuff. But that's still a crucial thing that is applied to the betting world. But also too, I did feel good enough about was FDU here for the -2.5. Florida State. They handled business at home. As you see, they won 82 to 69 at home. They handled business. Once I think like more so the end of the first half and the middle of the second half, when everything was flowing, I was like, yeah, this pick is gonna more than likely cash. So I felt really good about that one. And also too, right here, this plus 9.5, you see it here. This one did green. It was for Oral Roberts. I put this in maybe like a couple of hours before the game started. I remember specifically putting that in maybe 3 hours before the game started. I think it was definitely when I was almost done with work too, or maybe a little bit after, whatever. But Oral Roberts, I put this in for the plus 9.5. I felt really good about that one. They ended up cashing this one in I think it was in a loss, but they at least did not lose by the plus 9.5, so that one did cash. So that's all of that. NBA stuff, as always, I felt good about fading Charlotte. I really did, and it cashed. As you see, they only scored 96 points last night. Past few games, they just been really just not figuring out anything. Sometimes, like I think one game LaMelo had played and then he went out with an injury, so that kind of helped that pick. And then it was like 2 games in a row where they only scored 88 points. So it was just like, currently they're on this wave of not scoring 100 points. So it just might just be beneficial that you probably, it depends on who they're playing next, but might be more beneficial that you probably maybe possibly want to fade them on in the next game. But that one did work out. But the one that really felt really good was the Suns team total under at 124.5. I really felt really good about that pick, that one, because I just looked at the stats and I was just like, yeah, like this is the best spot here to fade them at this number. If they do get to the 120, they will probably just be that. I just, per what how the game was flowing to, it was a low scoring game in like the first like 2.5 quarters, but then that's when the Pelicans started to pick up. As you see above the pick here, I ended up having, the FanDuel gave me a bonus bet, $5 bonus bet random, and I ended up I knew something told my gut was telling me to put the Pelicans down for the money line. I just didn't do it, just because I was really looking. I was like, this team is probably not going to die. I was telling myself this team is probably not going to win against the Pelicans on at home, and sure enough, that's what happened. The Pelicans ended up winning on the road. I'm just mad. I'm still upset that I that I did that. I was like, well, maybe, maybe that there's a small percentage of chance that's literally what I was thinking. Like, there's a small percentage chance of Phoenix winning on the road in the money line at least. And while No covers the spread, but that didn't. You see, it didn't work out. No wins and they covered the spread. So yeah, I missed out on some actual. I really want to believe that if I had taken the Pelicans on the money line, that because the $5 would have got me back. I think it totaled like $12 and some change. I think it would have got me back maybe like $20. So I'm really just kind of upset that I missed out on like an extra $15 last night. With the 3-pick money line pick, so that one did not cash. So that's that, and that is it, because everything else, like I said, the FDU or Roberts cashed. The Denver Nugget one, that one felt really good, and the Orlando Magic team total over, that one, both those picks, the Denver Nugget, Milwaukee Bucks under felt really good, because it just felt like that, Milwaukee has been on the road. I mean, at home, the under has been hitting. Denver on the road, the under has been hitting, and then even in their matchup, the under has hit a few times when they played against each other. And I think this was the first time in a long time that Giannis and Joker played against each other in the matchup. So head-to-head matchup, basically star versus star. So I just felt really good about this pick, and as you see, it went under that 240.5, and as well as the like I said, the Orlando Magic. I actually felt good about them at home against Golden State, because Golden State's defense has been interesting over the last couple of weeks here. But they still won, and I think Steph had a big night. I think he made 12 threes and had 52 points or something like that. So he balled out, so that helped them out in the win. I think Golden State covered the number too. So there's that. But that's pretty much all the picks. That was 10 picks. Today we have 8. If I find anything else, if I do decide to do anything else, it'll probably be one more college pick and one more NBA pick, just to make it a full 10 pick thing, but it'll more than likely be after the stream. But let's dive into the picks. Like I said, I pretty much shared all of my most of my, or a few of my college picks. I have the rest on my phone that I've been meaning to post here, but I kind of got busy. I was trying to post. It's just been a busy day. Work was busy. I couldn't really do anything to post, really share anything throughout the day. Work was just kicking my butt. And then when I got home, I ended up talking to my homie, and it was just like we were chatting about stuff, and I was trying to really focus on sharing the picks, but it just didn't work out. But it's okay. But let's just start with the let's start with NBA. We'll do NBA because the college ones will probably flow a little bit better because I have them up. So let's start with a 2 lock pick. Also forgot to mention that that I also went 2-0 last night for the 2 lock picks. The 2 lock picks was indeed the let's find it. I just literally just brought it up too. I forgot about it. Was the Orlando Magic team total over and the Denver Nuggets team total, the total under. So those were the 2 lock picks for yesterday. So that hit. So if I remember correctly, my record is now 21-12 on the month of February. This is the last day of February. Let's see if we can get 2 more wins or 1 more win. Go 1-1. I'm hoping for a 2-0 spot here. But let's dive into the 2 lock picks for today. Let me first. It's gonna be we're actually gonna go on ahead, and I'm gonna go on ahead and ride the wave here. For the Blazers here, I am going to take a chance on a Blazers spread. I'm gonna take a chance. Let's see if this chance works out. This is the first lock pick. I got this over on DraftKings at -108. I'll keep mentioning this over and over again. This -108 number doesn't like me. So I want to say I'm now 2-3 to this number. So 5 times that I've picked this -108, I'm just now under 500. If I remember correctly, I believe I am 2-3 right now with this number. I'm deciding to take the Portland Trailblazers on the road to cover the spread at +1.5. As you see, it dipped up to 2.5. Kind of a little upset that it dipped up to 2.5. But as you see, the value still stayed the same as -108. Still the same spot over on DraftKings. But again, I got this at -108 on DraftKings at +2.5. I'm looking at it on my phone right here. So per what it's showing, Portland on the road pretty much has been struggling to cover this number. Over the last 5 games alone, they've only covered it once, right? Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna jump back on this way because Portland was on a wave, right? For even if it was just like maybe 5 games where they beat who was it? Who was it? Was it I think it was the Suns. Let me go back. Let me make sure. Well, maybe I can find it here. Well, actually, no. I think it was at home. Let me look at this real quick. Because they had a back-to-back. I swear it was a back-to-back. Whoops, wrong one. Wrong home. So it was Phoenix, yeah. So as you see here, they were covering at least a few games. So when you're around it here, they were 4-1 to the number, right? Or even more so, because so this is what I'm figuring out with Outlier. When Outlier shows this stuff over here on the right, like this is the actual number where it started at. This is the number where it ended up being, or this is the number where it's currently at. That's what I should be saying. This is the value, where the spread pick that we're looking at for tonight, but this is the actual stuff here. So when you really look at it, they covered literally 9 out of the last 10 games. This is what Portland has done at home. That's at home though, right? But away, they've only covered half of the number. 5-5. But technically the last 5 games, they're 1-4. Brooklyn, who is a very defensive-minded team over the last couple of weeks, they have been not so much as getting blown out that much over the last 10 games, but they've at least lost under 10 points and covering the number, as you see. But more so at home, they've been covering the number now. They're 4-6. But prior to the last 2 games, they were 4-1. So that's why I'm saying, like, well, what am I saying? Actually, no, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, so they're 4-1 to the number over the last, or maybe, actually, so 3. I guess I want to say 3-0-1, because this is showing like a +13, but it's like it canceled itself out. So yeah, I guess they're 3-0-1 to the number. Total of which is a total of basically like 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm sorry. 4. Well, I guess you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, last 5 games they've been covering the numbers. Pretty much what I'm trying to say. So Brooklyn is a defensive-minded team. They are the favorite in this game. Also, too, we have to put that in there. Actually, no, it changed. Something changed because when I picked up this number, it was plus. It was plus. It was at the plus value. It decided. I wasn't paying attention. Man, I didn't notice that Portland now is the favorite tonight on the road. When, like I said, when I grabbed this, Portland was the dog at the time, super early in the morning, because again, it's plus 1.5. I'm gonna end up sharing this once the stream is done, for proof in what I'm saying. But again, Portland, because if I remember correctly, Brooklyn was a minus 115, and Portland was a plus one. I think it was definitely plus 120 something this morning. So it flipped. So something changed. I don't know what it is. Maybe let's look at the injury report. Something changed. Let's see. Well, Jeremy Grant's game time decision. Denny's game time decision. I mean, well. Hold on. What's his face playing tonight? Is Cam Thomas playing tonight? Because I don't see his name on this injury report. Now Johnson's playing. He's good. He's playing tonight. Set the return tonight. He hasn't played since January 2nd. And that was at Milwaukee. Okay, so I wonder why he's... Then I'm curious. I'm wondering why. Is it because D'Lo's not playing? And it's just... Because, again, it's just Cam and it's Cameron and Cam now for the team. So, interesting stuff that Portland has shifted to the favorite to not only win straight up, but also their favorite to cover the spread tonight, to cover the number. Interesting stuff. This is going to be interesting now that my pick is where it's at now. Again, originally, because again, like I said, I got it at plus 1.5. So again, like I was trying to say, got thrown off for a few minutes, but Brooklyn at home, they've been covering number the last few games. So more so at home. So, you know, in the midst of them, you know, as you see, they're 3-2 at home. They won 3 games. They've lost 2 over the last 5 games too. So let's look at Portland on the road. They won, lost. So 2 and 3. So it's flipped. So yeah, I just felt like taking it just to see what Portland can do. I just really feel decent about this pick. This is a pick that I decided to go with, and let's hope for the best for Portland. Let's move on and hope that I don't ramble too much on the next pick to come. But yeah, interesting stuff now that I look at this pick and I'm just like, okay. So next lock pick, I'm gonna go on ahead and go with my Memphis Grizzlies, but I'm gonna go with a player prop here because I want to see if this is going to cash or not. The homie Desmond Bain at home. I'm going with his points. It did not move. I put him down on FanDuel minus 106 from the score 20 points. 19.5. Again, this was minus 106 on FanDuel. I put this in. As you see, he's hitting his mark 7 out of the last 10 games. He's averaging literally 20 points, 19.6 per the shooting guard position. The Knicks defense are allowing them to score just shy of 30 points per game against them. Head-to-head matchup though. Here's the kicker. He only played them once last season. He finished with 16. Oh, excuse me. Early this season. Early this season. So again, last 10 games he's averaging 20, but the last 5 games is averaging 19. What's going to happen with this pick? We'll see what happens. I feel decent about this pick. I decided to go with it because he's kind of struggled in between these ones where he's had at least a little over the 20. So I want to see if he can get these 20 points tonight. I'm hopeful that he does. We'll see what happens with that pick. Next up is I decided to go back to a Denver Nugget under, but it's the total under here. But I got it at a different value. I said screw it. I'm gonna go right back to the Nuggets on the road to test them with their own variation of defense plus Detroit's defense. Let's see what happens. So when we look at this, Denver away over the last few games, technically the last 5 games, they've hit this mark 3 out of the last 5 games, with the under hitting, right? While Detroit 5-0, son. This is like the main reason why I grabbed it. This looks beautiful right here. Detroit's been playing really, really good defense. Yes, there's been twice now that teams have scored above the 110 mark against them. But you know, they've pretty much they are currently 4-1 straight up when at home. So they're definitely on a nice little streak. If we really look at it in the last 10 games, the under has hit at home 7 out of the last 10 games. So yeah, I believe in the Detroit Pistons defense, and I believe in the Denver Nuggets to come in here another game, even if they were to win, that this is going to go under 239 now. I grabbed this though over on BetMGM 237.5. Again, this was super early in the morning. It was minus 115. That's the value. That's the pick. Let's see what happens with this pick. Next up, I just been feeling really good about just like picks for Indiana. Their games. So I ended up doing a twofold here. I ended up taking the over for this game, and it actually moved down. It dipped down 2. So I grabbed this over on DraftKings, another minus 108 pick. I'm doing a twofold here, doubling up on this value and a twofold for this game. So I decided to go with the over. As you see here, the last 3 games out of the last 5, the over has hit. It technically has been 3 straight games, right? But here's the kicker. Let's look at Miami. Miami at home, the over has hit. Literally, they're 8-2 to the over. In the last 5 games, they've hit 3 out of the last 5. So I just decided to say, hey, let me look at what the teams are doing. As always, you know how I do. As I've always stated, when I'm looking at the teams, even if it's the last 5 games, what are they doing as far as offense? 131, they had 85, then they had 106, 125, 107 for Miami at home, while Indiana on the road, 134, 117, 119, 89, but then 112. But they're still, Indiana's been still hovering over the 110 mark. So because Indiana's averaging maybe possibly around like 116, 117 type of thing, because that 134 definitely bumps it up. If it was like 120, then they would be averaging maybe like 114 or something like that, maybe 113 or something. But that 134 bumps up, maybe even closer to 120 is what their average. While Miami is probably more than likely maybe 113, 114. So when we really look at the total value for the whole pick, again, it dipped down to 230, 223.5. I still feel like that this can go over the 225. This is the number that I forgot to mention. It's 225 for this to go over instead of the 223 that it's sitting on right now. So I'm kind of upset that I grabbed this a little bit earlier on. And this is actually I feel like it's a better, sweeter spot to pick this pick for tonight's game. But that's the first pick. This is a twofold that I decided to go with. I decided to go back to Indiana and test their scoring on offense. And again, it's against Miami. I decided to go with the team total over at 113.5. minus 135 on DraftKings. This, as you see, it's still on DraftKings, but now it's at minus 110. So this is letting me know that this might actually hit. So as you see, beautiful spot. You know, they're 7-3, 7-10, excuse me. So over the last 10 games, they're averaging 117 points. Last 5 games, though, they're actually averaging 123. And when we look at Miami's defense, they're allowing 111 points. So it's literally just a couple points shy, a few points shy of the actual number where I want, Indiana to get to and actually hit cash on. So head-to-head matchup, though, they're averaging 125 points against Miami, whether at home or on the road. That's why I said, give me this. I'm taking this. Because I was like, I'm grabbing this here, but then I saw that over 2, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grab both. I'm just going to say, screw it. I'm going to just do 2 picks on one game. As you all know, I usually normally don't do 2 picks in one specific game. I usually just do 1 pick each game and then just keep it moving. But I decided to just kind of just be like, okay, let me see what's gonna happen here. And the next pick is Toronto Raptors. I'm deciding to fade them at home. Another sweet spot, I feel like, personally. Decided to fade their team total points under 118.5. I got this over on BetMGM, minus 135. As you see, it dipped down, way down, basically to 115.5. This is the better spot. Technically, this could be a perfect spot if they were to go under this. As you see, they've gone under the number, 114.5. They've gone under it, but I pushed it up here, right? When we look at the number where it's at, they've only gone over this number once over the last 10 games. That was more recent, but they're averaging 106 points over the last 10 games, and the last 5 games are averaging 108. But as always, Chicago, they're going against the Chicago defense that sucks. Chicago's defense is allowing 120 points. But let's really look at Chicago over the last 5 to 10 games. Let's look at the over. Let's just hit on the over, the Jover, and let's look at Chicago at home. Last 5 games, back-to-back teams scored 117 points. Back-to-back game against Detroit scored 110, and then the game before that, 92. And then when you really look at it as well, so that's 5 straight games where that 118 that 118 cash, if you were to take the 118 for any of these, if it was available, if it was at a good spot. So if you bet on against, if you bet, sorry, what am I apologize. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at Chicago's points. So we're looking at their opponents. So this is what their opponents are doing. 122, 121, 128, 132, 132. This is what their defense does. So that's 5 straight games. So they're 0-5 when trying to play some defense and holding teams to under 118.5. So if you've decided to take the over on all these games, it's been cashing. So when you look at it too, that's 7 straight games now that it's gone over the 118, 119, 118.5. So they've only had 2 games over the last 10 games where 2 teams did not score 119 points. 2, and that was at the beginning of these last 10 games, Philly and Atlanta. So that's letting me know that this pick probably might not cash tonight. But Toronto on the road, this is what they're doing. 91 points, 106, 87, 109, 106, 117, 122, 112, 114, 126. Difference is that it's switched. They have gone 2 games where they've actually scored over the 119. 2. So it just swapped. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I decided to just test this out, see if Toronto can continue this failing of scoring in the midst of playing against a defense that allows them to score. We're gonna see what happens with this pick. I just decided to just go on ahead and go with it. So that's pretty much that. That's all 4 picks for the night. Literally, I have 8 picks. That was 4 NBA, and now I have 4 college picks. So let's get it. Okay. So that's 9 o'clock. So the very first pick I put in is for the 9 p.m. game tonight. Usually when I'm doing my picks, I usually look for the earlier games. That's including the NBA, especially with the channel. I try to do picks, the 7 o'clock picks, so that I can, especially because I gotta get up at 4 in the morning to go to work. I got to get to work by 5, you know. So yeah, I'm an early bird. So, but I'm old though. But I try sometimes to do a lot of my lock picks at night before I go to bed and get, whatever, 5.5, hopefully 6 hours. And I try to get at least 6 hours of sleep. So I decided to go with Marshall Thundering Herd to cover the spread at -2.5. This number has not, as far as it did shift. Kind of upset that I couldn't get it at -3.5, but it's okay. So I got this here. Let's look at what I posted though, because that's the thing. Like I said, Outlier says one thing, but technically, this is the number that we're at, but technically this is the actual stuff. So, the last 3 games. Let me give me a second. Let me look at this because I don't know why it's not showing. I could have sworn I seen the actual number earlier. Okay, we got 2 games that's already on right now. One of them is actually the pick that I took, but I'll still talk about it here. So the last game was on the 25th. They were at home against Old Dominion. They won the game. So the actual spread was 9.5, and they covered the -9.5. They won 83-66. That was the actual number. So they technically went 3 straight games of covering the number, and then the couple of games prior they did not cover. But let's double check. Let's see. This was the 15th. Let me look at this real quick. So it was 6. I'm just double checking. Sometimes Outlier can say one thing, but if you really look at the actual number, you're like, okay, that's what it really was. So yeah. All right, cool. So they're 3-2 to cover the spread over the last 5 games. But again, that's what it's saying here. But let's actually look at their home spots. So now, when we look at it, last 5 games, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're still 3-2, but it's like I said, it's a little different because as you see, it's showing a little something different than what it is. So the home teams, they are actually 3-2, but it's a little different. They covered. Let's look at the first. They did not cover that. Yeah, they didn't cover. It says 11, but it's actually 11.5. So they didn't cover. CCU covered. So that's all I was saying. This isn't the accurate one. So cover, didn't cover, then covered. So 3-2. While Appalachian State, they are 2-3 to the number over the last 5 games on the road. Appalachian State is actually a really good defense. That's the other reason why I decided to go with the favorite instead of the dog, just because I kind of feel like Marshall can score, say, 70 plus points, maybe even 80 points tonight on the road. They did meet up last season, but Appalachian State not only covered, but they won the game, and it was a low-scoring game. As you see, 65-58. So Marshall couldn't even. But again, that was last season. Totally different spot here. So Appalachian State, again, last 5 games, they're 2-3 to the number. So let's see what happens with this college pick here tonight. The hope is that this does indeed cash. Next up is I decided to test my betting stuff here, going with more than one, or actually more than 2 spread picks tonight. So next up is the Riders. I gotta find them though. It's around the 7 o'clock mark. So I decided to go with the Riders to cover the spread tonight against Merrimack on the road at plus 8.5. I got this over on on DraftKings at minus 112. As you see, it dipped down to minus 102 over on FanDuel, so I'm kind of upset to miss out on a little bit extra value, but still the value didn't change. It did look like it did dip up, so I'm kind of really upset that it did dip up. I'm like, dang, I could have grabbed this at 10.5 earlier this morning, but I had a little bit of downtime around 11:13 a.m., but I wasn't focused on anything really betting wise, and I should have been at the time. But anyway, Merrimack at home, they are 1-5 over the last 5 games, and they are 2-8 over the last 10. Rider is 50-50. Technically, the last 5 games, though, they've covered a number 3 out of the last 5 games on the road. But the question is, because Rider they are the dogs. They are not the favorite. They are, as you see, plus 410, and Merrimack, is minus 455. Rider, they're not good. They're 6-11 in the conference, 10-18, while Merrimack is 15-13, 12-5. Per the betting scene too, though public betting is more so focused on Rider, at least covering the spread here. Maybe still losing, but at least covering the spread. So everybody's harping on Merrimack to win, but some folks are betting on the under to hit a little bit more than the over. So I just decided to go with this. This just looks really, really fairly like a good pick here tonight, but we'll see specifically what happens. We will see with this pick to come. Next up, just gotta get back to it. I actually put a pick in today, but the pick isn't until tomorrow. I wasn't paying attention. Like, I saw it earlier, I was like, I gotta make sure not to pick that, but then it popped in my head like, oh, I was at work and I was like, oh, I need to pick that play that I was looking at. So that's how my mind sometimes works. Like, it was like one time it's telling me don't do it, and the next time it's like, oh, I gotta remember to do it. It's like that was that moment where I was like, oh, I gotta remember to put that pick in. And when I put it in, I was like, wait, was I not supposed to put it in? And then I remembered, oh, that pick is for tomorrow night. Oh well, I'm ahead of it. I'll take it where it's at. Anyway, next up is actually one of the very first games today. It's actually going on right now. I decided to go against Yale to go against the grain, to take an underdog on the spread. Again, like I said, more than one spread, right? Dartmouth plus 8.5. I got this on FanDuel minus 110. That was the value there. Now it's minus 135. When we look at Dartmouth, now granted it's saying all this stuff here, right? But let's look at them at home. 5 straight games. They're 5-0 covering the spread, whether they're the dog or the favorite. 5 straight games they've covered this number. 5. 100%. 100%. While Yale, who they're going against right now, the game is in the middle of starting. They're actually 4-1 to the number. The question was, which one did I really want to take? When we look at Yale, they, the last couple of games alone, they've really been, really like, we're coming in here, we're blowing the team out, whatever, on the road. But they technically only did that the last 2 games. The 3 games prior to that, they won under 10 points. 2 out of those last 3. Or first 3, should I say. While Dartmouth, though, at home, they blew out their last opponent at home on the 15th, but in the end, technically they won by 14 points at home on the 14th, the day before, on a quote unquote love day, right on the 14th. And then they also too blew out the Harvard on the 8th at home, but they lost to Princeton on the 18th, and then won by 3 points against Penn on the 11th. So again, sort of kind of the same thing. Like, they're winning big these last 3 games. They lost one, then won one. While again, like I said, Yale blowed a couple teams out, but the other 3 games, 2-1 when winning by 10 points less. So we can look at this real quick. Let me see what the score is currently. 8 minutes and 34 seconds left. The score is currently in the first half, 19 Yale, 18 Dartmouth. So currently my pick is going in the right direction. All I need to do is stay the course the rest of the game. But we'll see. As always, it's college. Just like with the pros, something happens in the first half, stuff can change and go in a different route, or stuff can change and go in the route that you want, and really go in the route that you want, and hope is that it does indeed do that. The only thing is, too, is that, your hope is that, when you're really looking at this stuff, that, the picks do decide to, kind of like swing in a specific route and way. So yeah. Give me 1 second. Give me one second, 1 moment. Okay, so that was the 3rd pick. Last pick up is a home team. I'm deciding to go on ahead and fade Fairfield Stags at home. Team total points under 71.5. I grabbed this on FanDuel at -120. Now dipped down to -114. So it looks like it dipped up actually. Let's look at this. So it actually, no, it's around the same. So this is actually the spot, sweet spot right here. So as you really look at this, beautiful 9-1 to the number going under, 66 points that they've been averaging over the last 10 games, but last 5 games they're averaging 64 points. But their opponent, their defense is allowing 72 points per game. But let's really look at what they're doing as a team. Mount Mary, we could just, just pick anything for let me just do, well, let's look at their sweet spot, which would be, I guess, their team total over. But it's strange that it's the same. It's -110 for both of these. Interesting stuff. But for them, as you see, their defense, they allowed, actually they played against, oh, look at that, Ryder scored 72 points. Look at that. Nice. So Ryder scored 72. SPC scored 58. Can scored 66. Nigeria scored 83. And then Iona scored 70. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So per the number that we're sitting at, to fade the under, it actually hit 1, 2. So they're 3-2 to their defense shutting down the team from scoring 72 points. So we will see if this pick will work out. That's the pick. And that's all the picks. That's all 4 picks. Like I said, real quick, real simple, real easy. And we're literally just about to hit the hour mark on the stream, so I will gladly take it. Trying to push for just an hour long streams, unless, again, as always, just depends on if somebody else would pop in during these streams. I've had a couple people pop in the past couple of weeks to talk about their own picks and gain some insight, gain some information for their own stuff. So we're just hopeful that we go green most of the time, if not all of the time. But like I said, last weekend I went green once, and 2.5 days later I was struggling as far as like college was. NBA was up and down. Like I had one winning day, another losing day, it was up and down. So, but we'll see what happens with these picks, guys. With that, I'm out. Leave some comment section below of this video and or stream after it is finalized. Share your picks in the comments if you feel up to it. Let's push for some wins tonight. Let's get ready to push for some wins over the weekend for Saturday and Sunday. Hoping for the best, but as always, stay safe, stay humble, and I will hopefully talk to you all with the live stream tomorrow, which should be around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's lock in. Let's get ready to push for more wins, like I said, over this weekend, and just hope for the best and just enjoy the weekend. Whether you are at work, whether you're at home, whether you're chilling with your family, whatever you decide to do it at your own joy. And I'll hopefully talk to you all tomorrow.